What I do is this principle I came up with called the ASLA principle. ASLA. Ask, shut up, listen, and ask. I love the smile because I get it all the time, which is why I say it.
Get Shit Done in a Flash, a mini-series presented by the GST Factor podcast. Hear from incredible leaders, entrepreneurs, investors, trailblazers, individuals that are influencing and changing the conversations. Let's continue to step into our extraordinary and get shit done. Super Connector Steve Ramona, welcome to the GST Factor podcast.
Misha, thank you very much. I'm so fired up.
Share with our listeners a little bit about your story.
18 years old. My family launched a health club. They said, work the front desk. So I did. 30, 40, 50, 60-year-olds are coming in. Hey, welcome. Goodbye. Have a great day. And eventually the conversation became, hey, how's your grandson? Hey, how's your business going? How was your vacation? Building those relationships. And we're going to talk about partnerships, but that's the beginning of partnerships. Just look at a marriage. I'll call this a business marriage. You want to build that relationship. What can you cultivate for each other, not just for yourself, for just them? It's got to be, go both ways. So doing that, I had a gentleman that was a financial advisor, threw me a book, The Wealthy Barber, 18 years old at the time. Read the book and tell me what you think. So next week he came in, he goes, what's the book say? Take 10% of my income, put it away. So I did. 10 years later, I looked at that account, $68,000 in the account. I won the lottery. At 28, I'm like, holy moly. So I called Tony. I said, Tony, here's what happened. Let me send you $1,000 because that, you gave me a tip from your business. It's amazing when we do these partnerships and this value of serving, what the ROI is. And I hate to use that, but we're a business. We need an ROI. I just kept going. I started a restaurant, reached out to 10, 15,000 people I met in 20 years. Hey, come to my restaurant, fastest growing restaurant in the street. Because they come see me, because I've built a relationship. And that's partly a partnership. They came to see me, I'd cook, we'd talk, laugh, joke, like we were doing through the gym. Then I launched a recycling company, computers and electronics. I went back to my network, my partners, said, I need help. I was at 6 figures in 6 months. It was a need, I brought value, but again, I went back to that network to build partnerships. And I just grew, and 6, 7 years later, it got changed. And as business goes, pivoting, we had to pivot and walk out. And I walked out doing really well and serving so many people.
What I love about your story is the authenticity of, I'm going to be influential, but I'm also going to connect. I'm going to serve. I'm going to build those relationships. And yes, they are partnerships as well. I think in this day and age, people forget about that. They forget about the relationship side of it. And relationships take time and they're not linear. They zig and they zag, and there's lots of flavors to them. When you're talking to people, Steve, about being a super connector, and someone says to you, how do I be a super connector? What do you say to them?
Well, I've changed the name, and there's a lot of super connectors out there. So for this show, I'm announcing this for the first time. Drum roll, call it the human SEO. We do SEO for websites, but what I do is I optimize search engine in the engine. Hey, who do you need? I think I've done referrals for you. What I do is this principle I came up with called the ASLA principle. ASLA. Ask, shut up, listen, and ask. I love the smile because I get it all the time, which is why I say it. Because people go, shut up. Well, when I'm listening, I'm shutting up. On a call at 3 last week, I just asked a question. What do you do for work? I shut up and listen. I asked again. So what's your challenges? Just started firing off questions. I learned so much. I gave them tips. I gave them resources. I gave them introductions, connections. Did I build a relationship? In 30 minutes, I had this lady keeps sending me emails. My God, you made my Saturday. It was incredible. That is the gift I get to give. And all of you, including you, Misha, and you do it so well too, that we get to give to serve and build these partnerships.
It's so simple, so basic, yet so impactful, so powerful as well. I get a lot of questions, Steve, of people saying, I feel icky connecting people, and maybe there is a referral agreement in there, or maybe there isn't. Talk to us about how you've built your business through referral partnerships, because we are in business. We have to make a living. Talk to us about that and those hurdles that you've seen.
Audience is a wonderful host. I knew she was already. That's an excellent question, because here's how simple it is. And your mindset has to change, because I hear it all the time. I'm not going to ask. I ask all the time. Once I learn to ask, it's powerful, because when I did with these ladies this week, I asked. Now, all three of them asked, how can I help you? Oh my God, you were so great. That's one thing. People are just going to naturally go, hey, Misha, how can I support you? How can I help you? How can I whatever? And then you give them, I'm looking for this. But the power of it is when you take care of people, make them be seen, give them value, the door is wide open. I've never in 1,800 referrals, when I've asked, did people go, why'd you ask that? Why are you asking me for something? Right. Never. 1,800. That's a lot of referrals. I know you don't need to do that many, but it's a survey that proves it's 100%. Now, are they going to walk away thinking I'm an a-hole? Absolutely not, because they're walking away with resource, with value. Let's bring that word back. It's about value. It's so blessed. And I'm going to tell you a story. So I reached out. I have a company, massive, multi-billion-dollar company it's going to be in the next 3 to 5 years because of my podcast and asking. But here's what I did. We need funding for a project. I reached out to 40 people on network. Do you know anybody that could fund this $25 million project? I had 20 people reach out to me within 24 hours. I've got people for you. And it looks like we're going to get it funded in 2 weeks. Now, the other 20, thank you very much. But that's the ask. When I share stories about myself, I used to go, I don't know. But that's, if I can do it, anybody in the world can do it. But it's taking that step to ask. Now, the other 20 people go, what about the other 20? Nobody sent me any negative email like, why are you asking? And how many times you've been asked? I've been asked stuff. I just didn't answer. I'm not interested, whatever. I'm not mad somebody asked. Because if you miss an ask, it could be a change in your life, in your business. My partners are like, you're God, you're amazing. It's crazy. One of my partners has started my podcast, using the podcast like we're doing to build our network. Now I got more people to ask. And guess what? I got 3 billionaires I could ask. They're like, oh my God, how could you do that? What's the worst thing that happens? Joe the billionaire, I go, hey, I need 25 million for this project. He could send me an email, never reach out to me again. I'm done. That's one person. Now I know in God's eyes, between me and you, everything else, all I did was ask. Because he was on my podcast, and this never happened. All 3 of them have been on my podcast, and they've helped me. Let me help you. You were so great, so gracious. You're such a good host, or whatever. Back to that word value, V-A-L-U-E. Value, value, value. That should be in your head the first time, second time, third time, or anytime you meet people. Like today, I want to bring you the best podcast possible because you're so gracious to invite me as a guest. And that's what we should treat every connection.
I think there's a couple of different ways to look at it. From a spiritual lens, we have not because we ask not. There's this component of like, we need to manifest it. Let's think about it. Let's put it out into the universe. Let's put that positivity. But either way, we're asking people, we're asking those higher powers. We're saying, this is what we want. This is what we need. And let's make it happen. Let's get this shit done. And I think that people need to ask. They need to learn the art of asking, and they need to do so unapologetically. So many times I hear people say, oh, I'm so sorry, but can I ask you to do this? That is the one thing as a mentor of a lot of entrepreneurs, ages middle school through grad school, I have tried to coach out I'm sorry out of their vocabulary. Can you speak to that a little bit about what you've seen as you've encouraged people and trained people to ask? And ask for whatever it is that you're needing in that moment.
Well, I love that you said, because it's just mindset. You've just got to go out there and do it. GSD, get shit done. That's the name of this show, and it's perfect. With your partnerships, your connections. Here's the cool thing. We qualified. If somebody fires off at me, I will no longer work with them, connect them, and they lost a great value asset. I love bringing value and connecting. The word next comes in my head. Guy says, no, I've never worked with, you're an idiot. Next. Who's the next person I can bring value to? Kind of simple.
Let's talk about your podcast.
It started October 2022 at Josh Tapp, now my business partner, the partner Max, a good partnership. I've always wanted to bring value to my clients. I look at service here. Most people serve, I'm showing like chest level. They do it sometimes, maybe when they think about it, and that's okay. You want to be seen in God's eyes or bring more value or build your brand, people go to chin level. They're always thinking about doing that. And that's really cool. But what I think, a law of increase in Think and Grow Rich, I want to go chin level. How can I up level that serving? So I'd always put my clients out. I had a digital business card company and I was part owner. I had 500 clients. I would pop them on LinkedIn. Hey, check out Misha. She's got GSD and da-da-da. You got to check her out, and put at the bottom their digital business card. So there was some promotion, but it was very subtle. I wasn't selling the digital business card. People were loving it. This day, I still do that. I share people's books. I share their podcasts, events they have. It's not done enough in this social media. It's all about me. But Why aren't we promoting other people, bringing them value? Of course, be authentic. Thank you for mentioning that earlier. Be authentic, make sure that they are. When I did that, I saw the value of the podcast. I just went out to my clients, want to be on a podcast. I had 25 people sign up in 24 hours. And then it just more and more people. Now what I do with my podcast is looking for rock stars like you, super successful that are serving. The stories of hope, inspiration, motivation, and extremely successful, and in God's eyes, be that grace, gratitude, and that servant that he's looking for.
Your podcast is called Doing Business with a Servant's Heart. Also want to talk about your TV show that you host as well?
It's called Together We Serve. And what I do is I do it once a week, Fridays, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, live. It's about 55 minutes, so it's a longer interview. There's music and videos. They're about connecting with people. TV show is bringing more entertainment involved, and it's been fun. Some of my great guests, and I'm going to say this when she puts it out there, Misha's going to come on my TV show because she's got a lot to talk about. We have an audience of 1.3 million every month that come in. It's a large audience, and I love to support you and serve you, bring you value. You come as a guest, could you be such a great, you're welcome. Because you're serving so many people, and you're doing together, community, group. You're just not doing it yourself.
Thank you. I talk about in my books the importance of having people in your corner, the importance of having people in your life. I think that marries beautifully with the connections and the partnerships that we've been talking about. I talk about having your personal clan, of having the people in your personal life to help guide you. It could be a spiritual mentor. It could be a friend. Maybe it's that person that you call on when you need to get shit done. But then from a professional side, I talk to people about having your own insiders board and having that group from a professional stance. Would love to hear your thoughts and your perspective on, do you have that kind of personal board for yourself, and do you recommend that for others as well?
It is a must, M-U-S-T. If you want to be an entrepreneur and successful, and this is why she's so good at what she does, what you do. Every successful person, I've talked to probably 30 people, some of the names you recognize, who've done billions or hundreds of millions of dollars. Every single one had a mentor. I'm going to shout out to John Mitchell, who, if you know Think and Grow Rich, it's a book on success. It's been read 150 million times. He found the secret sauce that's missing from the book purposely. 12 minutes a day, he went from 250,000 to 5 million a year in income. I've been reading the book. And what he talks about is people are like, how do I find a mentor? Listen to a podcast. If you want to be better at marketing, I'm going to go out and listen to marketing podcasts. That's your mentor. You get tips from them. If you want to get stuff done and get organized, you're going to listen to Misha's podcast. Because that's a mentor. You don't have to be shaking hands with your mentor. You don't have to be hugging your mentor or see him on Zooms. That's really cool. But there's books, podcasts, TV shows. Just figure out what you need help with as an entrepreneur and go listen to those and grow.
I always say you can learn something from everything. We can learn what to do, but we can also learn what not to do. So, Steve, what is that one thing that you wish you had learned not to do in an earlier version of your life?
I'm so glad you asked that. I kind of was hoping I jumped on you to ask this question because it'll make me $1 million this year and multiple millions in the next 3 to 5 years. It's the ability that I used to serve. I did $125 million in deals. I made about $30,000. I did not ask. I'm like, Misha, Tony, enjoy the partnership. You guys make $10 million, which some people did. Once I started asking, I want you to be part of it. Here, let me pay you. Let me take care of you. It's that value of bringing people together. If I hadn't done that, those things wouldn't have happened. Here's a quick story. 3 years ago, I met Tony. He had $250 million the year before in income. I'm like, oh, crazy. How'd you do that? Because I just serve every day. Wake up in the morning serving all day. My clients, my competitor, their collaboration, my board, all those. Find out ways to serve, bring value before I go to bed. I give a bunch of referrals and they go, how can I help you? You've given them gifts, but the subconscious goes, you just turn them into takers. And my light bulb went off. That's the powerful tool. So they walk away and they forget about me. Once I start asking, I get 3 to 5 referrals daily. Because people don't forget me. Here's what I'm looking for. Here's where I need help. Here's where you can support me.
What if in this world we all turned into givers. That idea of servant leadership, that idea of serving others, not being takers, what an impact we can make in the world that we live in. My tiny humans see that, and then they turn around and help each other. Then they're turning around and helping their friends. The impact has such a ripple effect. We had a guest on our show, Chris Rollins, and he talks about a generational ripple effect. I think about that when I hear you speaking of being a giver and leading with a servant's heart and thinking about how can I serve, how can I help, and then not being afraid to ask.
Yeah, you just gave me goosebumps. And I'll add this to it. And you probably get asked the same thing as I don't have time to serve. How do I serve? What do I do? Which service could be $1 million to your church, or calling your business partner, calling your best friend you haven't talked to in 6 weeks because you've been busy. Here's a tip. And here's a tip for you out there that I teach my entrepreneurs is you want to learn how to serve more. Everywhere you go with their service and a name tag, always use their name. Hey, Tony, thanks for bagging my groceries. Have a wonderful day. As simple as that, you've changed lives. I'll tell you a real quick story. I tell people when you're having a bad day, things aren't going well, walk away from your office and go serve. We'll stand in line, lady had a baby and told the clerk, hey, I want to buy the groceries. She's like, no, I buy hers, groceries, I buy mine, I'll walk out with her. This is emotional because it's amazing. She starts tearing up and I start getting really worried. I'm so sorry. What did I hope I didn't want to upset you. She goes, no. These are tears of joy. My husband lost his job last week. We weren't sure how we're going to pay for our baby formula, diapers that you just paid for because we're struggling. So, my God, it was the powerful thing.
I love the name badge that you talk about because with my kids and my tiniest human couldn't see someone's name badge. Excuse me, I need to say hello to you with your name because my mom, so I need to see your name badge.
You see, it's a simple thing. And here's the thing, it changes the universe. When you do stuff like that, and again, I've had people go, oh my God, I had a bad day today. It opens these doors of opportunity to really bring value in serving people you don't even know. And then when you go back in there, probably happened to you, they recognize you. They remember your name. And that's back to the partnerships of, it just brings this full circle. Getting shit done.
Love it. Steve, when we think about stepping into our extraordinary, there's so many amazing tips and tricks that you have bestowed upon us today. But what tip would you leave with our listeners today about how they can step into their extraordinary, either through partnerships or through these connections or through asking?
You probably hear this a lot too, because I work with young entrepreneurs, taking action. Here's a Sandy Cousineau, who's a joyful optimist, a guest on my podcast. I love talking about them. She had this great image. You're driving down the road, you come to a stop sign. You can go right, it's the wrong decision. You go left, it's the right decision. Or you go straight, it's indecision. Nothing changes and you're going down that road. If you go right, you can pivot. You just pivot from the wrong decision. You go left, you made the right decision, big things happen, and you're rocking and rolling. Don't go straight down the freeway. Make a decision left or right at the stop sign and let the world and God take over.
Steve, it's been such an honor having you on our show today. And don't forget to get shit done. Are you an influential leader that has a dream to write a book and put your words out into the world? Reach out to us today so we can help make your book dream a reality. Let's get shit done.